So yeah, hello everyone. Hi there. So this is basically a video to tell you all about what an MUN is and how this MUN stuff works, right? So basically मैं ये video as for a school delegation बना रहा हूँ, that is St. Thomas Boys School for Heritage MUN, right? Now there are a lot of stuff included in MUN and yeah, I have not scripted it well क्योंकि ICC चल रहा है. So just a second. Okay, so the first question and the foremost question and the most important question is, what is a model United Nations, right? So a model United Nations is a MUN, or a model United Nations, as the name suggests, is a stimulation of United Nations. Okay, a stimulation of United Nations on a very scalar level. So ये बोलने से basically most of the questions are not answered because there are a lot of stuffs and lot of questions which are prevalent in your head, and I know that most of the first timers have a lot of questions with them regarding model United Nations. So ठीक है, now being very basic to make you understand how model United Nations work and what exactly a model United Nations is. So first things first, you all must be knowing about United Nations. You all have read about it in your civics or contemporary world part, right? Why United Nations was formed. It was basically to maintain peace and to prevent the Third World War from taking place, right? Now अब बात ये थी कि how do you stimulate a model United Nations? Now supposingly there's this school Heritage MUN, and you are given an allotment in a specific committee. Now in United Nations there are several committees, right? First and the foremost being United Nations General Assembly, which has 6 organs, namely DISEC, SOCHUM, SPECPOL, ECOSOC and different others. Economical and Financial Council. DISEC stands for Disarmament and International Security. So there is something called ambit of an UN committee. Okay, so the foremost and the most action taking committee in United Nations, real United Nations, is Security Council, United Nations Security Council, or UNSC. Now what is the ambit of UNSC, or where it can extend its powers to? What can it do? United Nations Security Council basically can take any action it wants until and unless it abides and is in coalition with all the international laws governing the different states, nations and their policies. For example, United Nations can take military action against an aggressor, but United Nations cannot ask a government to step down because the government is corrupt, or it cannot ask a government to step down because it is breaching peace. It can control the government, not the government but the country, by imposing sanctions, but it cannot take actions against government. Now to make the things a bit simple to you, समझाने के लिए कि बोलना क्या चाह रहा हूँ, let's take the example of Syria. Okay, what is happening, what's the condition prevalent in Syria is that there is a civil war. They started a civil war long ago. Okay, when Bashar al-Assad's father was in power. So what happened, when his father died, Bashar al-Assad declared democracy in that nation. He said that a fair election should take place and everything from today onwards will be democratic. Okay, now what happened was Bashar al-Assad contested the elections and there was no resistance or no opposition at all. And when he took this move of democracy, what happened was people supported him a lot. Like, people were happy. They thought that in Bashar al-Assad they have found the correct president which they needed, they wanted and they should deserve. So they elected him with 92% votes as far as I remember. So what happened after that, you all know. So the United Nations and different nations, according to United Nations Security Council, have imposed sanctions on Syria, but they cannot ask the Bashar al-Assad government to step down. Same applied to Democratic People's Republic of Korea. United Nations has imposed sanctions on Democratic People's Republic of Korea, namely North Korea, but they cannot ask that government to step down because the president or the government is corrupt. Okay, now, well, not going into the complexities, I am deviating from the point a bit. So basically an MUN or a Model United Nations stimulation is the stimulation of United Nations and its committees, namely Security Council, United Nations General Assembly, United Nations Conference on Nuclear Disarmament, United Nations Human Rights Council, uh, blah blah blah. There are a lot of committees. Okay, there are a lot of committees, limitless committees in United Nations. Okay, the now the stimulation is on now the stimulation is on scalar level, that is school level. What happens is a bunch of students come up. Okay, they participate in MUN. For example, I am in the United Nations Security Council. I'll be given a portfolio or a country. For example, I am representing Syria or United States of America, right? So now in the debate, what happens is there are 15 students, 5 permanent members, 10 non-permanent members. Every student has one country each allotted to him to represent, and there's an agenda. For example, the agenda is intervention, okay, or the agenda is Syrian crisis, okay. So what will happen then is I'll not give up my views on that debate. I will not speak my views on that debate. I speak up the issues or the views which the government has, or the government which I am representing has, according to that debate, and I'll substantiate those views. For example, United States of America will never support Syria. Okay, it will never. The United States of America is completely against Syria, but at the same time, when you see the Russian government will always and obviously support Syrian government and their side, because according to them, the Assad government is the best and they are the right. Okay, so this is how the debate proceeds. Now there are different MUNs in the circuit. In Kolkata circuit being specifically, there's not one or two MUNs. There are a lot of MUNs. Okay, and well, I have participated into several of them. Achievements being Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta, and Sri Academy Awards, and I'll be cheering further. But when leaving those aside, I did this because I wanted to show up. Sorry. So keeping that aside, I have a lot of stuff kept ready for you all, right? Like there are several files which I want to discuss. I won't discuss all of this today itself. I'll try to make this video 20 minutes or 25 minutes just. Okay. So basically, there's a guide to delegate preparation which I got from IEM, okay, Institute of Engineering and Management, right? So these type of guides actually clear your concepts, but it is not very useful until and unless you have a grasp of what Model United Nations is. Okay, so as I have discussed what Model United Nations is, next what I'll be doing is I'll discuss things which are given in this, and I'll see if that is helpful to you all or not. So no, this is not gonna help. Okay, yeah, I find this nice. Okay, so what is UN? Okay, this if you can see it properly. In the middle is given as General Assembly, and it has subparts: Security Council, Trusteeship Council, Economic Social Council, International Court of Justice, and Secretariat. Okay, now Security Council has subparts. For example, United Nations Disengagement Observer Force, United Nations Peacekeeping Force, United Nations Interim Government, United Nations Military Observer Group in India, Pakistan, blah blah blah. General Assembly, on the other hand, UNICEF, UNHCR, UNEP, UNDP, UNCTAD, WFP, WCP, blah blah blah. There are a lot to it. Okay, I'll provide you all with this very soon, right? Now preparation. Okay, this is the part which should be discussed, right? Preparation. So the first column stands as conference preparation. Okay, now for example, for our delegation, that is you all, consisting of no, I shouldn't be taking names, but still, what is the conference preparation? For example, you are given a specific committee, right? I am in United Nations Conference on Nuclear Disarmament. You may be in another committee. For example, Shandeep, you are in United Nations Conference on Nuclear Disarmament as well, and Rahul Bhaiya, you are in United Nations General Assembly, I think. Yeah, you are in General Assembly. So what happens is you are given the committee. You know your committee right now, but you don't know your allotment. You'll be given an allotment. Okay. you all know the agenda. Now, supposingly, I am in conference on nuclear disarmament, and I am given an allotment of South Africa. Okay, so what will be my preparation for the conference, and what will I research to keep myself prepared for the debate there? I'll research on basically the topic: what is the stance of the South African government on nuclear disarmament? What do the South African government has to say about this, and what are their international relations, which we term as foreign policy, right? Now, the foreign policy of South Africa right now, as far as I know, it's a African nation, and this that is the first nation ever to voluntarily give up their nuclear armaments. Right? They had acquired six active nuclear warheads, which they gave up. They voluntarily gave up all their nuclear weapons. So this is the South African policy towards nuclear disarmament. We are strictly for nuclear disarmament. We want nuclear disarmament. We don't want nuclear weapons to be acquired by nations, right? This becomes my foreign policy. Okay, on this agenda. Now I have a foreign policy set that I am for the issue. Okay. Now, second thing is, I'll see who are my allies. For South Africa, their allies is United States of America and NATO nations, right? But when it comes to foreign policy, allies will be second, and foreign policy will always be first. Okay, so be very prepared with your foreign policy and how your government or your country stands or takes stance on that specific issue, right? This is foreign policy. Now, rules of procedure. The first thing which comes is speeches and general speakers list. We always start with general speaker list after attendance or roll call. Okay, that is nothing very important for you all to know. I don't. If I need to, if you all need to know about this, that is what is an attendance, or do you have any questions? Just send me. I'll make another video as well. But what happens in general speakers list is that you raise your placard. I have a placard to show you all. I do have placards at my home. Where do I keep it? I don't have any placards right now. No, this cannot happen. I always have placards. Yeah, here it is. Yeah. A placard is something like this, right? This is of IEM, Institute of Engineering Management, your country's flag, your country's name, personal privilege, and this will be kept on your table, right? Now, after attendance, supposingly the chairperson which is speaking forward will ask all those nations wishing to speak in the general speakers list. Now, you'll raise your placard high up so that he sees that yes, you that is the delegate of Syria wants to speak in the GSL, right? And they will in whatever order they feel right, they'll accept you that yes, on GSL we accept Syrian government, they will speak. Okay, after I get my chance, I'll stand up, and what will I speak in GSL? That's the question which everyone faces. What am I going to speak? What should I speak? I know this is the agenda, but what will my speech regarding be? Now, general speaker list is, in a general speakers list, you speak about your country's policy. Okay, for example, Syria, or let it be South Africa. Okay, South Africa will speak about its policies regarding nuclear disarmament in a United Nations conference on nuclear disarmament. I will never speak something like Sayyam Jha thinks that nuclear disarmament should not happen. No, I won't speak. I'll speak in a way that I'm representing South Africa. I'm representing South African government and South African people to the United Nations. So I'll speak in a manner which is diplomatically correct. That is, I'll speak. The South African government thinks the South African government has taken the stance of pro-nuclear disarmament. We are strictly against nuclear armament, and we are the first nations who have voluntarily given up, and blah blah blah. So basically, what your foreign policy regarding the agenda as a whole is, you speak that in general speakers list, right? Now, once the GSL is done, there comes moderated caucuses. Moderated caucuses are sub-agendas to agendas. For example, in Nuclear Disarmament Committee, the sub-agenda should be review of nuclear proliferation treaty, or nuclear weapons free Middle East, nuclear weapons free African states, and should there be nuclear disarmament or not. But a moderated caucus will not be a direct question, it will be a statement which will be discussed, right? Now on that, your country's stance is clear. Now you'll substantiate your stance. You'll prove that yes, my country's stance is this and I think this is true. This is what moderated caucuses are. They're sub-agendas to the main agenda, and you speak and you try to substantiate your stance. Okay. Now only one thing is left which I'll discuss in this video, that is research. What should be the research for an MUN? For example, whatever your agenda is, Now I should not be suggesting this to you all, but go to Wikipedia and search and see about that agenda. See about your country's foreign policy regarding that agenda, and then search for news articles, for treaties or resolutions, for United Nations committees or United Nations meetings on that, the presidential statements. Then it comes reports. Okay, these are what your agenda should be. So I'll keep this video short, although it's almost 16 minutes. I wanted to keep it 10 minutes, but okay. This is it for right now, and I'll show you all something before ending it, right? Acha, no, I'll discuss this sometime other. This is the video for now. Okay, and I'll discuss various other stuff. So go through this video. I'll suggest and give me questions. Whatever question you have, you submit to me. After both exams, I'll script the video. I didn't script this video, that's why I'm deviating from my time limit, and I don't know how I will be able to send it to you. But go through this and give me your questions. I'll reply to them, and I'll make a video separately on that. Thank you.